What's up, everybody? You know who it is. It's your boy, Target Individual, CJBK. Um, yeah, I took my advice and I made some bullet points, right? Because I always keep forgetting about what I want to talk about. And, I mean, to be honest, it's just another day. Some days I'm good with, fighting against the psychotronic torture, via the V2K, and I can, my pain tolerance. I could take the pain of the direct energy attacks and the frequency attacks and the radiation and stuff. And I mean, um, I'm already very much aware of how much of an influence they have over electronics and well, apparently the influence they have over people. um, but I just want to make sure that that I start to get a lot more fine tooth with my videos now, because um, I don't know, like, the one thing that gets me the most, is I grew up in some of these neighborhoods that I've always been in, grew up around people that I've always known for years. I mean, for years. People who know that I ain't never been a problem to them. People who know that I've never been, I've never been disrespectful to nobody. I've never, hell, I don't even start arguments with people, So, and then out of nowhere, it took just a matter of what, 2 3 months. I'm talking about as far as like back to like September 20, no, let's say September, October 2020. It took just like a matter of 2 or 3 months after that for, it seems like, everybody who knew me to just flip and turn on me. I'm just like, yo, that just let me know that this world is is not that it's not real, but it's just like, it just reminds you why they always say God said don't put faith in man, because man is just as easily to be manipulated as the seed that you plant in the ground, or or your hair. you know Man or woman is just as easy to be manipulated as anybody else. All you need is the right influence. And well, hell, when someone is threatening you with your own privacy, I guess a lot of people would flip. If you are someone living with certain financial circumstances, and someone is promising you some money, you probably would flip. you know but let me go ahead and start going through my bullets, right? So okay, now, a lot of the things that I'm going to mention is going to be things that I've been hearing via the synthetic telepathy, or the V2K. Um, if any of you are watching don't know what synthetic telepathy, or V2K, is, it's basically the transmission of frequencies that can be picked up by the brain, and it's interpreted as sound. Um, you don't necessarily hear it through your voice, but it's basically kind of like picked up by your brain, stimulated by like your is it the cochlea, the nerve that basically interprets sound or picks up sound. And you can basically hear anything from words or voices, whatever. But it's an actual transmission of frequency that your brain decodes as sound, right? And it can come from a source that could be to anywhere, really. Um, I believe satellite based, but I don't know for sure. But based on certain um, research that I've done, especially by a Dr. James Giordano. Dr. James Giordano, he goes into full details about a lot of this technology. I mean, he teaches um, technological warfare courses to the military, and he talks about these transmissions and direct energy weapons and things of that sort. So yeah, first one I wanted to go through is one. Okay, now in the very beginning months, I remember I like to call them either electronic handlers or handlers, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to handle you, or you call them perps, short for perpetrators. But handlers, I remember in the beginning, after I had went to, these hospitals, thinking that something was wrong with me, but there's nothing wrong with me. And now they're trying to see if they can do some type of frequency tuning, because it's usually always a high pitch in one ear. It's usually the left ear. It's a heterodyning type of situation where one frequency is higher in one ear and is lower than in the other. But anyway, so there was a situation where, like, after I left the hospital and stuff, and I realized, okay, the hospital is not going to be able to do anything because a lot of the staff is part of it too. So there came this time where they was like, apologize. You need to apologize for telling on us. Apologize. And then I was like, look, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I don't know who y'all are. I don't know why y'all doing this to me. But I ain't never been a snitch a day in my life. So look, I said I was gonna apologize for talking about y'all to the doctors, because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought I was going, I thought quarantine. I thought I had got cabin fever, and my mind was like bugging out or something like that. So I apologize because I don't snitch on nobody. I never snitched on nobody. So I had apologized because I was like, yo, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Sorry for my language, but I'm just feeling raw right now. But I'm like, I was just apologizing because I didn't know what was going on. I just didn't want no parts of it. But now at this point, they're using that apology against me. And I realized they also record everything I do, which means they can manipulate the sound bite and make it sound like I'm saying something else or apologizing for something else. But here, I want to make sure I say this on camera and not just like through some audio that they can manipulate. I'm only apologizing for the fact that, okay, if people are actually making whatever they're doing, whatever this is, and they're making this a part of their income or their livelihood or whatever, and it's not supposed to be known or whatever like that, I apologize for that. But what I'm not apologizing for is the fact that the very first night, hell, before I even went to the first hospital I went to, I said, look, I don't know who you are. I don't want to be a part of this. I won't say nothing if y'all just leave me alone. I said, if y'all leave me alone, I won't say nothing. If y'all leave me alone, I won't say nothing. I've never been somebody to be a problem for anybody. Nobody. I've never been a problem for nobody. I've lived in hoods all my life, and I ain't never been a problem for nobody. And I said, look, if y'all leave me alone, I won't say nothing. What did they do? They became persistent. They were persistent. They was just like, oh, you gotta, you can't just like get out of it that easy. we still gonna get you. We still gonna like shoot you in your sleep and stuff like this. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, you know what? Let me go to the hospital because I don't know what is happening to me. And I mean, hell, I remember the first night I broke down in tears because I thought demons was like really coming at me because I had just finished watching this really great show on CBS called Evil. But that's a whole different story. So, oh my goodness, this is like the exact premise for that type of show. Um, New season is coming up though. It's a great show. All right, let me just tell it so. Long story short, a priest in training, Catholic priest in training, a psychologist, and a computer tech expert. All three, they go into these. They get sent out by the church to go and investigate these situations to determine if it's a spiritual event dealing with like deities or something like that, or if it's a technological incident, dealing with probably some messed up people playing around with technology. This would be one of those situations where I wish they were actually real. But I think there are people like that do that. But hell, I ain't got the money to be getting them involved or whatever like that. But yeah, I said I apologize for the fact that I didn't know about this type of stuff. I didn't know. So if people were using this to, I mean, look, I don't blame nobody for how they make their money. I mean, that's you. You do you. You just do that over there. I'm just not a part of it. That's it. I apologize for that. But I don't apologize for speaking up because if someone walks up to you in the street and says, "Look, you are going to become, I don't know, you're going to become like, I don't know, you're going to become one of my henchmen or something." Someone walks up to you and say, you're going to do this shit for me, and you can't refuse, because if you refuse, we're going to harass and torture you, or we're going to fuck you up every time, every day for the rest of your life until you actually do it. What you think your reaction is going to be, right? If someone comes up to you in the street and says, you're going to do what we tell you to do for the rest of your life, and if you refuse to do it, we're going to fuck you up for the rest of your life. Now, if you are anything like me and anybody else out here, more than likely you're gonna be like, get the fuck out of here, and you probably gonna want to fight or whatever. But get this: how can you defend yourself against somebody who's hiding, and they're able to transmit these thoughts and ideas into your head, and then they can torture you using direct energy weapons, and then like, how can you defend yourself against someone who's hiding? Now, because trust and believe, if this person walked up to me in the street and said something like, I would have been like, fuck out of here. And then we probably, look, I would have, if they pulled a gun out on me, I would have been dead right there in the street, because I ain't letting nobody make me into a slave. I ain't letting nobody make me into no slave. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I apologize for basically, talking about something I didn't know about. But I don't apologize for defending myself against someone who's trying to force me to do something I don't want to do. If I don't want to do something and I never been a problem to anybody and nobody ever told me that they had a problem, but obviously they're using technology to try to like see if they can manipulate and eavesdrop or tort or do extort or whatever. It's a whole thing. But I mean, all you gotta do is type in, targeted individuals on YouTube, and you'll basically find a whole plethora of different people all across the world that's going through this same stuff. And no, we are not psychologically ill. No, this is some technological, and at the same time, it's a spiritual warfare, because it takes a certain type of individual or group of people to have a certain type of mentality or a spiritual heaviness to take pride and interest in the torture of another human being. Like, that's why I call it spiritual, because people don't realize evil spirits or deities can take control and influence the mind of a person who's not operating at a certain, I would say, at a certain function or frequency level to be able to know to say no to this type of stuff. And I mean, it's crazy how I found out, like, just from, meeting other TIs online and speaking to them over the phone, meeting them in person. I mean, single mothers, with children, they saying that, their children are getting harassed. And, this one woman, showed me pictures of how her daughter had marks on her body. She was only like 11, 10 years old. She had marks on her body because somebody was using, these weapons against her daughter because I guess she was non-compliant, so they went after her kids. And I'm like, yo, and then there's this elderly people this is happening to. Man, it's some real deep stuff. And look, y'all don't have to believe me. Y'all don't have to believe me. But I can't just be making these videos out of nowhere for no reason. Well, yeah, so, okay, the other thing, the handlers are pushing this other smear campaign saying that I'm a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter. I don't even fucking follow politics like that, let alone follow somebody, let alone support somebody who basically push a lot of like blatant, disrespectful, hell, racist as hell remarks. And like, how the fuck could I be a Trump supporter? And I fuck with so many different people who don't even fuck with Trump. And I mean, honestly, like, I never really cared for him even before he became a politician. I mean, shit. Probably the only one time I probably laughed in support of Trump was when he tackled Vince McMahon and started punching him in the head during wrestling. But that's fake too. So, yeah, I don't know. And then they're eavesdropping on shit that, probably at my mother's house, about shit that she says, because I'm gonna say this. When it comes to people who basically study people, you have the right to believe in what you want to believe. You don't have to be someone who go gung-ho on a person in, as an entirety. If you believe that, like, let's say if somebody says they like pizza and you go, oh, you like pizza too, but they say they like pizza with pineapples on it, but you like, oh no, that pizza with pineapples, hell no. But then somebody else come along and be like, oh, I like pizza with pineapples. And you're like, how do you like pizza with pineapples? The next thing you know, somebody else come along and be like, yeah, how do you like pizza with pineapples? Do you know what that is? That's just a disagreement. It's a disagreement, and then there's people that find commonality. But at the same time, I mean, how like does it really control your life? Not really. But yeah, I just needed to stress that I'm not a Trump supporter. Hell, fuck, I wanted Bernie Sanders to win anyway. But the DNC, they did him dirty anyway. But I'm gonna just leave that at that. Okay. Okay. Now, this next one, a lot of people still are probably lost to this idea. Everyone is being played. Every single person is being played. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about it like this. You have someone or some people who have the capabilities to use technology to extract your neural data, the frequencies that are being processed in your mind. And you know, everything that you think, everything that you see, everything that you hear is processed in the brain as frequencies. Your memories, everything is processed as frequencies, right? There's a person who has the capabilities of scanning your brain frequencies, uploading them remotely into the internet on a private server or cloud, and they can do it without you ever knowing that they were there. So, I mean, I'm gonna just put it like this. Why would the country of Chile be the first country to start a neural rights initiative creating 5 main laws that protect people and their privacy from invasion of their mind? Like, why would a whole country go that far to say we need to create laws against brain hacking? Now, I'm gonna just leave that at that. Everybody's being played, right? Everybody's being played. Everybody who's a part of the gang stalking. And this is the part that really gets me, right? Now, I know people in the street, right? And then apparently now it seems like the street don't trust me because they think I'm snitching, right? But here's the thing, what I'm saying, right? How could you trust someone who has the ability to see every single memory that you have? So how could you trust somebody who can literally pull up a memory like it's a book in a library? If you did something to somebody, or you did something out somewhere, and this person has the capability to be able to pull that memory up and watch it like a video, and then they could share that shit with someone, how could you ever really trust somebody with that much power? No one on this planet should ever have that much power. And I'm just thinking about it. Don't you realize you are probably, like, for one, that's a human being being able to do all this stuff. So that also means if they were able to, I guess, I don't want to say trick, but let's just say get you to want to be a part of whatever it is that they're doing, what makes you think that the person who's handling the electronics won't be just as susceptible to being, I guess, encouraged to say, hey, do you have something on this person? I would like to know if you have something on this person. Next thing you know, what's the driving force for most people in this whole situation? Money, right? What makes you think that somebody won't come along? Like let's say if you have a beef with somebody, right? And then your handler, you know, or they're not telling you they're your handler, but they're your handler regardless. If you're receiving transmission from them, they're your handler. What makes you think that that person won't ever sell you out? What, like honestly, and that's the whole thing that I seem to not understand. How are people okay with this? Like, if I just like violated somebody like 2 days ago, and then somebody comes with some money to the handler and they're like, yo, what do you have on this person? Because I'm trying to find out some information about this person. And they're like, I don't know nothing. I got $15,000 or whatever amount of money that, you know, they might offer up. Be like, oh shit, let me see what I could pull up. And then because they already been through your brain, they probably already got your whole life saved on a server or something. They go into the computer. I got this video of him violating this person. So $15,000, right? Right? All right, cool. I'm gonna send that to you. Boom. Next thing you know, the person you violated, or whoever, whoever cool with that person you violated, gets this information. Boom. They snitch on you, or they send that information to, like, cops or whatever, as an anonymous tip or whatever. Next thing you know, you got police knocking at your door talking about you're under arrest because of, such and such. And you're like, what the fuck? How the hell they find out? Because there's a motherfucker with too much power and you letting them. You letting them. So that's why I don't understand the reason behind people actually being cool with this, right? Anyway, oh, this one here. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of used to it by now, but it gets annoying every once in a while because I have to work from my phone. But cellular network disruptions. Yeah, they basically, I'm not sure if it's like they're using radio frequencies to jam the frequencies that are coming from my phone, or either outgoing or receiving, whatever whatever. I don't know how exactly the jammer works, but they're constantly jamming my cellular network. And I use my phone to work. Like, I clock in from my phone. I have to, process orders from my phone, stuff like that. And they're basically trying everything that they possibly can to make my life harder. But God willing, I love saying God willing, because God continues to keep me fulfilled. God just continues to fill me up. So yeah. And I called T-Mobile probably about like 5-6 times, trying like, yo, what y'all doing with y'all network security? Like, what the fuck is going on? And every time I do, they're kind of like, then I started to realize, you know what? I don't think T-Mobile could do anything about it, because I don't think it's on their end anyway. There's something else in between my device and then the T-Mobile satellite, where it would retrieve its network, its data and stuff. So there must be a jammer. So I'm not sure if it's like some type of homemade jammer, or maybe they have like some version of a Stingray that basically disrupts the connection, or the sending and receiving of data between my phone and the satellite, whatever the case. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Next, oh, well, no, I'm gonna save that one for last. Right, okay, and I gotta reiterate this. My handlers just keep telling people that I'm talking about people. I stay talking about people. I stay talking about people. He always talking about people. He stay talking about people. I don't just talk about people just to talk about people. That's never been my MO. That's never been my MO. And anybody who knows me know I don't just talk about people just to talk about people. If I happen to make a comment about someone, it's probably because maybe they did something in my presence that seemed very lack of awareness, or very insensitive to the people around them, something like that. So like, let's say if I'm walking down the street, right? And I know anybody can attest to this. I know everybody can attest to this. If you walking down the street, right? It's just you by yourself, right? And then there's like four people walking down the sidewalk side by side. And you coming down, right? Now you thinking at least one of them is going to at least try to at least get behind the other one, or one will at least try to turn to the side. No, they don't. They continue to walk side by side, making you feel like, you're probably either going to bump into one of them, or it's going to try to force you to try to like do extra movement than you have to. And then I would say something like, motherfuckers wouldn't even try to move at all, not even turn to the side. And then they would say, oh, he stayed talking about people. That's not talking about people. That's literally stating the obvious. Or let's say if I'm about to cross the street, right? And there's a car coming, right? And let's just say I'm waiting to cross the street, right? The car's coming. Let's just even say that car has a green light. And I'm waiting to cross the street. More than likely, I'm probably gonna jaywalk, whatever. But I'm waiting for the car to come, and they just driving mad slow, and you just standing there waiting for the car to come. There's no other cars in front of you. You're just waiting for it to come, and then you're just like, why the fuck they driving so slow? And you say something like that, and they'll be like, oh, he stayed talking about people. I'm like, yo, come on. They try to find every little thing they can to try to see if they can destroy a person's character. This is what the slander campaigns are, the smear campaigns. They try to take every little thing that they can to try to see if they can put it against you and make everybody not like you. Even if they used to be kind of cool with you, they try to take everything that they can to turn everybody against you. Even your own family, your own friends, people that known you for years, they try to find everything that they can to turn against you. I mean, hell, it happened earlier today where I was walking with my cart at work. I'm trying to cross the street, and this car is about to make a turn, and I'm standing there waiting with the shit, and the cart's kind of heavy, so I had to stop my momentum. I'm holding the cart, and there's no one crossing the street, so I'm waiting for the car to make the turn, and I'm like, damn, you taking a long ass time to make this turn. And then I would hear them with their transmission go, see, he stayed talking about people. I don't know, whatever. What else? Oh, okay. Now, this magnetic pressure, I've been feeling in my right at the top of my brain, right? Well, it's more kind of like it's like a magnetic pressure that feels like it's between the brain and the skull. I haven't fully understood that, but I know I've read something. I've been reading so much, whether it's technological studies, scientific studies, studies about new brain computer interface, algorithms. I've been reading all kinds of stuff about electromagnetic field, radiation, the pollution, and then one thing I need to start getting myself into is nanotechnology and smart dust. The things that we can't see, the things we can't smell, you can't taste it, and it's a still very kind of new concept to the public. Smart dust and nanotechnology is probably everywhere. But with the naked eye, you can't see it, but it's probably everywhere. And we breathe in it. It's in our foods. It's in the air. It's one of the things that's killing the bees, honestly. It's one of the things that's heating up the surface of the earth. This is one of the reasons why we have like these record-breaking heat, these record-breaking heats waves and whatnot, especially on the West Coast, because this nanotechnology and smart dust is basically micro metal. It's like micro metal particles. It's like very, very, very tiny, um, energy conducive particles. And when you think about how the sun's UV rays, reflect down on the Earth's surface, and if they're spraying this smart dust and stuff every day all over the Earth, especially especially like in the U.S. and whatnot, you gotta remember, everything that's sprayed in the air comes down, and then what happens if you think about a car, right? If a car sits out in the sun for too long, especially on a hot summer day, what happens? The car is conducting the heat and is becoming like a freaking oven or a microwave in a sense. So you think about how this technology. You ain't gotta believe me. You can look it up. All you gotta do is do a search online. But this stuff, it basically is flowing through our bloodstream, and it's inside of our organs, it's inside of our brains, and a lot of times we don't realize it, but it's being used to, I guess, make our electrical signals, the firing of impulses in our body is making it a lot more visible for them who are using the technology to basically see our frequencies easier, whether it's via satellite or whether it's through some type of device that they're using, probably something that's kind of more like an infrared, where they basically can scan a person's body who's within a certain proximity. They can use the infrared laser and probably scan a person's body, locate a frequency, and then be able to tune or receive that data and be able to change it however way they need. But yeah, still got to do more research on that, but I'm just letting other TIs know, definitely look into smart dust and nanotechnology, because trust me, the studies that's coming out is starting to get real, real dark, Right. This character deformation. I have to keep doing these videos for as long as they keep lying about me and they keep trying to push off these stories about how I'm everything that they say that I'm not. I have to keep making sure my truth is heard. It's not even my truth, it's the truth. And it pisses me off because I ain't do nothing to nobody. And I'm like, it makes no sense. Like, how is it that all of a sudden I lived in New York City for 32 years of my life. 32 years of my life. I get a lottery apartment and I move from Brooklyn. I moved from Brooklyn in September 2019. I get my own place. Cool, I'm chilling, blah, blah, blah. Then, okay, COVID hits, in March of 2020. Now we quarantining, and I'm living alone in the Bronx. I live in my own apartment. My own apartment. I live alone. And, so what are you gonna do when you live alone? I mean, hell, I did a lot of cleaning. Not gonna lie, I indulged in some vices, but I wasn't causing any harm to anyone. No one ever let me know that they were being bothered by anything that I was doing. I never had a neighbor come and knock on my door saying that I was too loud. Never had, no one tell me that, like, hell, I was smoking. Never had no one tell me, like I wouldn't smoke in the house. I would smoke outside, but I never had anyone Never had anyone tell me that like, yo, your smoke is disturbing us or whatever. And anybody who knows me knows that like if I was ever a problem with somebody, I'm probably the first one to apologize and say my bad. I'll make up for it, whatever. And then I'll probably try to like reintroduce myself, and fuck it, we could probably be cool after that. But nobody ever did any of that. What did they do? They went straight for trying to use their technology when I'm sitting in my crib by myself watching a movie, sitting there just chilling on my couch, and all of a sudden I hear, "We're gonna shoot you in your sleep. We're gonna shoot you in your sleep." And I'm sitting there bugging. I paused the TV, I'm listening, looking around behind my couch and shit. I'm hearing, "We're gonna shoot you in your sleep. You ain't gonna find us. You ain't gonna find us. Don't get scared. We're gonna shoot you in your sleep." And then, I kid you not, like, I don't know. It's the most craziest thing. And then, because of that night, I didn't know what was happening to me. So I went to the hospital to get a psych eval because I thought that I thought maybe I was getting cabin fever or something. I thought that I was going crazy or something like that. And then, I kid you not, I can't make this up. I remember I was at the hospital, well, I'll say the second hospital, really. And, see, listen to the details I'm giving, because I could say what hospitals I went to. But I went to the second hospital, and as I'm laying in the bed trying to go to sleep, and I'm hearing the voices talking to me. They're like, whatchamacallit? Oh, we gonna. I don't even remember. They were. Oh no, it was like the voice was like, "Yo, stop talking about us. Stop talking about us to the doctors. You snitching. Stop talking." And I'm like, "Yo, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but just like, look, I won't say nothing else." Then they said something about your mom is snitching on everybody. And I was like, "What you mean my mom is snitching on everybody? My mom ain't snitching on nobody. My mom ain't never been a snitch." So I'm like, yo, it was so much going on. I didn't know what the hell. And then I kid you not, I remember I was laying in the bed with my back turned, and there was a chair kind of like next to my bed. So as I'm like laying on the bed and there's a chair sitting on this side, I kid you not, I could smell the cologne of probably one of the people that had like took me or brought me to that bed area. And I swear I could hear the dude say under his breath, "I'm gonna punch you in the back of your neck." And I'm like, the hell? So I'm like, yo, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I really needed to stop, because it's like playing with that toggle switch. It's playing with that toggle switch where, everybody who knows me knows I'm like very, very passive person. But and most people would tell you that they never really see me ever get mad. That's because I strive not to allow anger to get the best of me. God says, "Blessed be the man who is slow to anger." So I strive for that, because if you allow yourself to be angry, you're a lot more prone to make some decisions that could be extremely detrimental to your life. Well, right now they're probably telling me, "You snitching on everybody, that's detrimental enough." And I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be saying none of this if they would have just left me alone back in September or October of 2020. If they would have just left me alone back then, I wouldn't be making these videos. I wouldn't be doing nothing. Hell, if they would have left me alone, if they literally stopped like torturing me with these extremely low frequencies, if they stopped torturing me with the dirty electricity, they're basically curating, or not curating, but they're creating in my apartment. And which one you could watch one of the previous videos where they basically actually, I don't know where, probably in the basement somewhere, I don't know, they switched they switched the the electrical current for my ACs, my bedroom and my living room AC, because they know I sleep in the living room more than the bedroom. But I turned the bedroom AC circuit breaker off because I figured, I don't sleep in it, so I might as well just turn that off rather than having electricity just steadily sitting dormant and flowing in there. So I turned off the circuit breaker to the bedroom AC. Then one day I'm like trying to turn on the living room AC and it's not working. So I go to the circuit breaker, check the circuit breaker. I see that it's on. So I'm like, the hell? So I turn it off, turn it back on. I go back to check to see, to look at the living room AC still off. Then all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell? So I flip the bedroom AC, circuit breaker on, and then all of a sudden the living room AC comes on. I can't make this up. I really can't. But yo, and see, and I don't want to be that person, because this is already enough as it is, because I done had so many people. When I remember when I was first telling everybody that I was like, yo, I got me an apartment in the Bronx. I got me an apartment in the Bronx. Everybody was like, why the Bronx? I'm like, why not? I mean, shit. Like, I mean, for one, I don't really know that much about the Bronx. So what's a better way to get to know the Bronx than to actually live there at least for 2 years, because that's how long my lease is. So I was like, I'd rather go there just to check it out, live there, see what's up, whatever. And I met so many people from the Bronx who's actually mad cool, So, and I'm like, yo, I don't see why it was a problem for me to move to the Bronx, but damn, like, I'm really fighting the urge to say, like, shit, like, I should have listened to everybody, because I'm like, when I was living, of the 30 years I've been in New York, living in all the other boroughs, never had any problems, but all of a sudden I moved up there, and next thing you know, my whole world gets flipped upside down. But you know what? It's kind of almost in line with Deuteronomy, where Jesus said, well, no, it wasn't Jesus. I think God said, if ye were of the world would love thee. But because ye is of the world, and I have chosen you from the world will hate you. And I feel like, yo, ever since I moved up there and all this weird stuff started to happen to me, I feel like, yo, I really feel like God just chose me. And then once God chose me, the world was just like, oh, he's different from us. He gotta go. And I was just like, yo, God really just chose me to be persecuted by the entire world, it feels like. Luckily, I met other targeted individuals, or I like to call them empowered individuals, so it makes me feel a little bit better. It's not like I'm alone, because shoot, if I was alone in this, I don't know how I would be able to deal with it. But yeah, let me keep going because it's getting long now. Yeah, and the character defamation. I just have to keep doing these videos, because the more they keep lying about me, the more I feel like I have to keep making sure my truth, or the truth, is heard, because I can't let them destroy my character. I can't let them destroy my character. Oh yeah, New York City is definitely a hotbed for gang stalking or organized stalking. It's a hotbed for it. It feels like damn near 75-80% of the city is a part of it. Whether they want it to be a part of it or not, who knows? But I'm pretty sure some of them were extorted, or they were probably threatened, like, if you don't do it, then we're gonna, your privacy gonna be over, or we're gonna tell you. That was the line that they told me, your secrets. We're gonna tell your secrets to everybody and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyone who's a TI from out of state, and you think about coming to New York City at some point, remember, y'all better be strong when y'all come here, cause it's lit out here. I'm just letting y'all know right now it's lit. Okay, now, oh, I gotta say this. Everybody in this world needs to get ready and repent. If you believe in God, you better start. You better start praying. You better start reading Psalms 23, and you better start repenting. And I always tell all, I always like to remind other TIs or empowered individuals, read or listen to Psalms 31, 37, 94, and Proverbs 1. Each of those deal precisely with what I would call a century-old version of gang stalking. That's is literally because this stuff is not new. None of it's new. None of it is new. This stuff has been going on for centuries. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. like when you pay attention to the details of everything they do, it's literally in the Bible. And just because it's in the Bible and you see what happens to those same people that, what the Bible calls, evildoers or workers of iniquities, at some point they do find themselves being destroyed in a sense, or they may come across some calamities that they will not be able to hide from. Some of them won't even understand why the things are happening to them, because they've been so of the world that they basically they forgot that God is always paying attention to what you're doing, and God is never going to let you know when something bad is going to happen to you. So repent and just get your spirit right. Get your spirit right. What else? Well, I guess I'll make this my last note. August 29th. I don't know for how many years this has been going on, but August 29th is considered International Targeted Individuals Day. And you can go on YouTube and basically find, it's like a day where TIs from all over the world, I don't know how they make these videos, but they basically make compilation videos with people who, tell who they are, their story, and what countries they're from, what cities they're from, and they're like to say, my name is John Doe, I'm from Quebec, Canada, and I'm a targeted individual since such and such year, and I would like to wish all other TIs a strong and fearless, happy targeted individuals day, something like that, and I've watched a couple of those videos, and I was just in awe about how many people it is, but it still gets me how elderly people and people's children are being attacked by this technology. And it just dawns on me, I'm just like, yo, so everybody is cool with attacking children with this technology. Everybody is cool with attacking elderly people with this technology. Everybody's just cool with it all. As long as they're getting paid somehow, as long as they're getting the job that they want, or a job that's going to help them make money, they don't care what happens to everybody else. As long as, they getting what they want. Lord, I still pray for them because they don't know what they do. I still pray for them. And then the sad part is, And in this organized, stalking stuff, they train their kids in how to mess with people. You know, hell, I've seen stories where people use their children to try to set up men to make them look like pedophiles. It's a sad game. They call it synthetic crime. You know, deep fake technology. Where they take your voice. If they can record your voice somewhere, like they'll take a computer that can basically listen and record your voice, and then it's ran through an algorithm. Then they'll be able to type up whatever statements that they want to make up, and then they can have the computer repeat that statement with your voice. And then not even just that, like, something called sneaky pics, where, like, random people in the street will look like they're on the phone, but they're actually taking pictures or videos of you. And then what they'll do is they'll send that information to what they would call fusion centers. And then they would basically create videos, or create a video using all of these pictures and stuff, and then place you in a situation digitally to make it look like you were somewhere where you weren't. And it could have been some crime that happened in that area, and then if police come knocking at your door, they're gonna have you as a suspect, saying that, oh well, we have video footage that you was there. And you're just gonna be like, that's some bullshit, because I was definitely not there. But they're gonna be like, well, this video right here shows you there, and you're just gonna be like, this is gonna be one of them times where you're gonna need some witnesses. And here's the sad part is, when it comes to this synthetic crime, organized stalking stuff, they can flip just about everybody you know. So even if the person you was with, they'll probably flip on you and say, you weren't with me. And I'm kind of mentally preparing myself for all kinds of situations, because I already know they already tell me via the transmissions that, like, oh, we got a setup waiting for you. So I'm already mentally prepared for whatever may come, but I'm just taking it one day at a time. But yeah, I've talked enough. I've been trying to find ways to make my videos shorter, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like I got a lot to say, because this is all still very new to me. I mean, I'm about to come up on 1 year. My first year is going to be in September of this year. So, yeah, they like to remind me, oh, you're going to be a target for the rest of your life. You got a long life ahead. You got a long life. Don't worry, you got a long life, and you still got to go to prison. They love saying that to me. You still got to go to prison. So I'm like, oh, so, all right, well, when that time comes, I'll deal with it then. But until then, like I tell y'all in every video, one breath, one thought, one step at a time, one day at a time. Remember, life is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Stay peaceful. Continue to, detox yourself if you can. Read up as much as you can about the benefits of copper for the human body, inside and externally, or internally and externally, because it can actually help regulate the amount of ion charges that's within the body, because that's what really makes these direct energy attacks more painful, is the amount of ionic charge that's in your body. Also, please learn about different ways you can shield yourself from EMF, electromagnetic field pollution, or radiation. 3 particular materials that I've been slowly trying to get myself ready to start collecting, so I can start making shielding stuff from, is copper sheets, right? Maxine is spelled Mxene, and then graphene. Graphene is like some type of flexible, super conductive material that works very well against electromagnetic, frequencies and heat. Um, and so is Maxine. So yeah, everybody just stay positive, stay diligent, and remember, keep documenting everything. Keep documenting everything. Because the last thing you need is, if God willing, if God decides to call you home and allow your enemies to get the best of you or whatever, I'm not saying please don't commit suicide, because they'll benefit from that. But if they were to find a way to like kill you or something like that, you need to have documentation out there to at least, protect your character. Because there'll be some messed up stuff if you get killed and then there's nothing out there saying that, you were defending who you were. Document everything. Document everything. Video record, audio record, whatever. And try your best not to I'm uploading it to social media, but yeah, just document everything. All right. Peace.